It's your friendly neighborhood cult leader here, and I wanted to let you know that the music that we had in this week's episode wouldn't pass YouTube's copyright check. We played a lot of electronic and trap remixes of Halloween songs, just something fun and new and different. You can play the same songs every year and they get stale. But in an effort to make it correct, we have a brand new song from the Chinchillionaires in this episode, so we hope you enjoy that. Without any further ado, on with the show.
You're about to listen to our program Eng. We don't know why, however we are grateful you chose to. We do wish to inform you that the views, opinions and overall morality do not necessarily reflect those of the station, interview guests, sponsors or musical entities. If you should choose to continue, and we sincerely hope that you do, just know, we tried to advise you against these actions and we are not responsible for any damage done to your sanity, morals or ideals. Thank you. Here comes the terrible siren.
One of us. One of us.
I am aware
I am a humble man.
that you feel you don't belong.
I won't say you should follow me.
You are welcome. You are loved. Join us, and we shall reach the promised plains.
I'm not boastful, and my chorus is more soulful.
One of joy, one lacking pain. We are the cult of I am aware.
Don't say it. I can see
You
it.
feel you don't belong.
I don't wanna. You don't need it. Once again, we don't need you. What I'm meaning. Don't say it. I can see it.
Join us.
I don't wanna. You don't
We shall
need it.
reach
Once
the
again,
promised
we don't
plains.
need you.
One of joy, one lacking pain. We are the cult of Ah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. You're listening to the Cult of Odd, and I am your friendly neighborhood cult leader, Odd. How are you tonight? It is spooky season, and this is our Halloween special. So what we've done is we've called through Reddit and pulled some certifiably spooky stories to tell you. And if we run out or we run short on time, Ollie is with me, and she's going to pull up some two-set and horror stories, and we can talk about them and see if they'd scare the shit out of us or not. I am very excited about tonight because I can talk about all the things before we get into the spooky stuff that I've been trying to keep a lid on in a fashion, mainly the fucking coloring book.
I'm sorry, nothing's creepier to me than you speaking in that tone of voice in the opening. I'm not into that, and I'd really like it to stop.
Someone out there might like it.
Then they can pay me extra to hear you speak like that. We'll open an OnlyFans, and it'll just be him whispering in your ear. That's okay with me. But
Only
you gotta pay
odds.
me. I don't like that. Jesus, your mic just decided to say no to.
Do you like the whisper sounds? Does it do something to your ears? Well, if you want more of it, we're going to have to start an OnlyFans because, I'm not giving it
it's
away
been
for
on
free.
our mind.
No. No, I am not doing dirty talk to OnlyFans.
If Markiplier can do it, you can too.
Oh, man, could you imagine, reading dirty stories as
yes,
ASMR?
Chris, that's a thing. That's a thing.
My voice could get you there. I'm fairly certain.
Stop. I can call him Chris. You can't. You don't get to call him Chris. That's a me thing. I had to marry him for that right.
The interview that we watched earlier today, in the beginning, he called me by my first name, and I was like, so we using government names now? Because I can use yours. And he was like, hold up, wait. Let's start this again. What would you prefer to be called? And I was like, well, I go by Odd, and Odd Man. And he was like, well, Odd Man sounds weird. How about the Odd Man? I was like, that's cool too. Let's go with it. But if we're using government names, I'm going to call you yours the whole way through.
The full government name.
Government names. Government. When you're a content creator, it's best to branch out and talk to as many other content creators as possible. It's a community that you find yourself in, or you try to build goodwill between others. I've done just that. I want you to check out this interview that I did with Ice Cold from the Dummast podcast, otherwise known as the Dummast podcast. I absolutely love Ice Cold. We have a great rapport with each other, and I had a great time with the interview. Check it out. Here's the trailer.
We got the beards going today, man. Got the shaggies, the scragglies out. You know.
Yeah. Well, I'm auditioning for a role of Santa Claus later this year. I'm hoping my wife is willing to be my ho ho ho.
You know what I think we should do? We should start like a OnlyFans page, beards only.
I'm down. Whatever makes money, man. I mean, if you want to sign your life savings over to me and give me your wives, I'll take them. But I'm not specifically asking you to.
Yeah.
But no, it just came down to a matter of, it was a catchy title, It catches you like right away, like, what the fuck is this cult of odd, man? What a cult? Let me look. I feel most at home and like I'm doing the most good when we're talking about social issues. Because there's a lot of double speak and yes manism that's out there in the mainstream media, and we're not paid by anybody to say anything. So these are our opinions. I've got a couple of fuck you statuses ready to go at least once a week, and it's like, I see you sharing fucking shit from Coca-Cola or some
Farmville.
Farmville meme page that you don't even know. Here I am, blood, sweat, and tears, putting my heart into everything, and you're like,
"Ooh, it's Rick Ross's birthday." You're like, what the fuck?
So and so died. What have they done for you? The Yu-Gi-Oh fucking championships banned Kanye for unsportsmanlike conduct until 2057. I saw that last night. I was like, oh, the cult of odd is a long, long time ago in a galaxy far. Oh no, wait, that's Weird Al. No, no, I cannot. So yeah,
Coloring book.
The coloring book.
We have ADHD so bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad right now.
The Cult of Odd has released a coloring book. It is 85 pages of coloring fun.
I'm so excited. I love this thing so much.
It's not just coloring. It is connect the dots. There's a build an odd.
You can build your own cult leader. You can color him.
Mm-hmm.
Put him on cardboard. Fold him up and worship him like you should.
Yeah. You can take me everywhere. I can be your co-pilot. Odd is my co-pilot.
Please stop.
You can mount me on the dash. You can mount me on the TV. You can mount me on your desk.
No, because now we're going back into OnlyFans territory. Too much mounting and me not even get enough money for that.
But at any rate, you can go to Amazon.com right now and purchase the Cult of Odd coloring book. There'll be a link down in the description for those of you that watch this on YouTube.
How weird is that?
Yeah,
you have a link to something on Amazon. I know that's like, I have something on Amazon, but no, this is like a published thing on Amazon. It's cool.
Yeah, this is that weird pride thing that I'm proud of it. I very much am. The coloring book was actually an idea I came up with while talking to a friend. He recently saw it, but he was drunk when he was talking to me about it, so he didn't remember that he spoke to me about it.
Oh no!
And so when it popped up, he's like, "Huh, I wonder where you got the idea about that." And I messaged him. I was like, "I hope you're not mad. We were talking about it, and I was able to turn it out fairly quickly. Mm-hmm. You were drunk. I didn't even think you remembered the conversation." He's like, "I honestly didn't." But he himself had released a coloring book for his company, not too awful long ago, like a year or so ago. It's actually Killer Toy Tops.
Yeah.
So it's monster trucks and cool stuff like that to color. But the Cult of Odd coloring book is a bunch of our merch designs, our thumbnails, and a few other goodies thrown in. Now, I'm sure if you follow me on any of the social media apps that I'm on, you have seen an ad for this already, but I wanted to show it to you in person, so to speak. This is something I'm super proud of. It was something that I had the idea for, and I just ran with it, and I'm ecstatic at how everything turned out. we have a Cult of Odd coloring book. That's right, 85 pages of coloring fun. And now you're wondering, what does it look like on the inside? All of our merch designs and some of the thumbnails, plus a few connect the dots, and you can even build your own odd. How cool is that? You can pick it up now on Amazon. It's $15. All the money goes to helping us make the show even better. We've got things coming that we are really working towards doing, and this will help. So, pick it up this year for Christmas. Enjoy, color it. If you're happy with what you color, send it to us on any of the social media sites that we're on. You just tag us. You can find us. It's not that hard. But yeah, Cult of Odd coloring book, available now.
So excited. The only thing, and it's so stupid, that the only thing I can picture in my head is in Hamilton. The Hamilton spoke at the Constitutional Convention. I get to speak at the Constitutional Convention.
I got my own fucking coloring book. I got Fruitopia caps.
Why you gotta kill it with a boomer thing?
Yeah, it's because that's mindset. I remember I am in my 40s.
But you're not a boomer.
No,
darling.
but there's things that were part of
You're a Gen X.
my cultural upbringing.
I'm sorry, you're an Exennial.
Yeah.
I'll give you your 3 minutes of credit for being born just a couple years.
Just a hair shy. But anyways, you can go pick up the coloring book now. There's an ad that if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see it a little bit later. And like I said, link down in the description. And for the rest of you, if you want to get to it, there'll be a link on thecultofodd.com. And if you find my link tree, it's the top link right there. But until this episode gets posted, that's the best you got for right now. Or you could find the link on the Facebook page. We're everywhere.
I don't know, if that coloring book sells well enough, we might go ahead and do that OnlyFans thing.
Fair enough.
We might do that anyway.
But the idea was to give something simple. We understand that a lot of our listeners and our crowd fall somewhere on the neurodivergent spectrum.
Or you have anxiety or depression.
But that's neurodivergent, though.
No, it's not. It's different. It's something different. Something completely different. Most neurodivergent people have anxiety, but not all people who have anxiety are neurodivergent.
But Mr. Brown's in the chat, and he said, "I seen it in person." He held it. He got to touch it.
What, the OnlyFans?
No.
Are we going back to that?
The
Is that
coloring
what you want
book.
to ask again?
The coloring book. The coloring book.
Look, you gave me one bit of it, and now I'm just going to run.
All right. We spoke about the interview. I did an interview with Ice Cold from that runs the Dummast podcast, and it was. I had a lot of fun doing it. It's up on YouTube. It actually premiered at 6 this evening, so 2 hours before we went live. And
That's a really good interview. I don't usually like watching interviews with you in them. Sorry, baby. That's just kind of how it is. I hear you talk 24/7. I don't want to also watch something that has you talking in it. But I actually really liked it.
the fuck? And I was nice, and I shouted her out a couple of times, and I gave her credit.
Sweet. You did give me credit, except not credit for everything I did, which we'll talk about that.
That's a fucking woman for you, isn't it?
No, the things that I was most proud of, you just dropped off the face of the planet like fucking nobody cares about you. You gave my credit to Matt.
I said he helped.
Also gave a lot of other credit.
And I also
We
mentioned
will talk about that.
And I also mentioned earlier in that interview
That I'm doing more, yes.
that you do a lot of the research and help.
What I was proud of.
Oh my fucking God. Don't get married, folks. Just don't.
That's okay, and if Mr. Brown has anything smart to say, when we start that OnlyFans, we'll be burning only Motor City Candleworks. In the background. He'll get his ad in the worst place he never wanted.
Yeah, we'll also...
You get a Motor City Candleworks sticker right on the middle of his ass.
And what we'll also do is we'll reenact Bubble Odd for Ace. We'll do Bubble Odd again for Ace.
Don't.
Yeah.
I really don't want
No,
that.
Bubble Odd for Ace. Bubble Odd 2.0. Better bubbles.
Better odd.
But no, I really had a fun time, and if you guys haven't, I've talked about them before, and you haven't checked them out then, go check them out now. The Dummast podcast. You can find it on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. He said one more, and I can't. Podbean. Yeah, so you can go check it out there.
Look at me keeping up with your interview shit.
I don't think of Podbean, honestly. You know, I think
I'm sorry, I forgot. You don't need to keep track of that. You're the talent.
Yeah.
I'm the manager.
That's right.
That's okay. We'll
I'm
remember
pretty
that.
sure I'm on Podbean, but that's only because of how I do things. Like, it's a shotgun blast to every fucking platform there is.
We'll remember that when I start the OnlyFans for you.
Fuck.
Look,
So
you talked yourself into it. Now you're going to do it.
go check out from the Dummast podcast. It was from Chicago to Dummast, or the Dummast podcast, also pronounced the Dumbass podcast.
I like him.
Yeah,
I really like him.
I like
he's
Ice
fun.
Cold. Yeah, I
I'm sorry, I can't hear Ice Cold without thinking of Nick Cannon's kid. Ice Cold.
I found a kindred spirit in a fellow podcaster, and we click. Also,
His beard strikes me. I can't help it.
I want to let you know that in the coming year, there is going to be a format change for the Cult of Odd. You will still be able to hear it Friday nights on tapdetroit.com in its entirety.
Oh, anxious about this one.
However, we are going to switch to a video format, and you're going to see a lot more of our stuff on YouTube. It will be pre-recorded. Honestly, my live numbers have been shit, ladies and gentlemen. So
Nobody shows up live. If you wanted it live, you should have showed up.
Yeah, nobody. I mean,
I bet you didn't know we were going to take it away from you.
there are a few people that show up on Friday nights live, and I'm grateful for you. But the numbers have been dwindling lately, and most of the numbers.
Late enough to make us sacrifice.
Yeah, the numbers have been leaning more towards the podcast version and the stuff that goes up on YouTube. So, you know, I can make a better show still and do this. So you'll still be able to hear the full show on Friday nights, but we're gonna do a lot. We're gonna do more pre-recorded. We're talking about doing one live show a month still. That way, it's special. You don't want to miss it. And the rest of the stuff will go up to YouTube, and I'll post through the Tap Detroit website and my page there as well.
But this also branches out into things we wanted to do. Like, we wanted to have more people involved with the show that weren't in studio. So it's not that we don't love our friends coming over. That's why we're keeping one live show. We still want the event of it to happen here. But we also really need other people, because Jad had to step away. Corey's had to step away. Reap doesn't always want to be here.
Well, it's not that he doesn't always
Ace,
want to. It's not always feasible, too.
The same thing for Ace. He can't. Oh, it's getting colder. It's not always feasible for people to be here.
Yeah.
But if we break into the pre-record format, that means that we can start having Ice Cold. We can start having different people on that we want to have on. All you have to really have is access to Zoom or Discord, which is free.
Yeah.
So we can actually bring more people into the show.
I've got podcaster friends all over the country that I would love to be able to work with, but it's very difficult for them to be available on Friday nights at the times that I'm on. Mixing live and pre-recorded content doesn't work that well.
No.
It kind of throws a monkey wrench into the works for the flow of the live show.
So we'll do 3 pre-recorded shows a month.
And one live show.
And one live show. And then maybe some extra blooper content over on the Patreon.
Yeah. The full show in its video format will also be going up to Patreon. What goes to YouTube will be the highlights from the episode. Yep. Give you a reason to watch on YouTube and maybe check out more.
I mean, it's been a live show since Bad World Radio. And I know those are the words we don't speak of. It's he who shall not be named. But we've done that since then. But if the live numbers aren't there, they're not there. And our numbers are really in the podcast downloads. So if that's the way we need to lean, that's the way we need to lean.
Right. And Planky just commented, he messaged me, he said, "No one loves me. I'm taking my ball and going home."
Hey, we could have taken the show off the network, did we?
No, he's just fucking around, though.
Oh, but I know he is.
It comes down to a matter of, if the numbers aren't there for me live on Friday nights, and the fact that I want to get more people involved that can't be there on Friday nights, this makes sense.
Yep.
And for some reason, I don't know why, but the content that shows my face that I've been putting up on YouTube is doing wonderful. I don't know why you motherfuckers want to see this ugly mug, but you do, and so...
I'm telling you, OnlyFans might be where it's at.
So we're going to ride out the rest of this year doing the live format and doing everything that we normally would. And
Keeps dodging my OnlyFans comments.
And we're going to start prepping for the new format change. And like I said, Tap Detroit, you can still listen on Friday nights. You can tune in. You'll be able to hear the episode. You'll still be able to hear the music. You'll still be able to hear us hawking the stuff for all the great businesses that we do work with.
Including Motor City Candleworks, which you will now find in sticker format all over the Cult of Odd OnlyFans that we're about to make. I
do have a couple of Motor City Candleworks stickers, too. I could wear them as pasties.
I bet you didn't know you were getting into that. Now did you, Mr. Brown? Guess what? Extra advertising at no cost to you. Take that as you will.
So,
is that bad advertisement?
No. But while we're talking about Motor City Candleworks,
woo!
Motor City Candleworks is now offering handmade soap. And I want to tell you, it is wonderful.
Oh my God, it's so fantastic.
So I had the chance, I bought some off Mr. Brown, Motor City Candleworks, and I got oat, milk, and honey. Or oatmeal, milk, and honey. And now I have weird skin. I have bad skin.
He has a keratosis issue where he has extra keratin on his skin, so his skin's a little kind of like plaque psoriasis type of thing.
I also have this weird thing where my skin is both oily as fuck and dry as fuck.
And no in between. It's not like combination. No, it decides, I'm going to be oily today. Oh, I'm going to be oily, and then I'm going to immediately switch to being so dry that you feel like the Sahara.
So I've used handmade soap before, and usually the oatmeal and honey works good for me.
But this one. This one.
I didn't dry out. I felt good afterwards. Like, my skin still doesn't feel super dry, and it's like a day and a half, 2 days later.
Yeah, which is usually when you start the itching because your skin's drying out.
Yeah, so I highly recommend Motor City Candleworks soap.
Yes.
And as a special offer for our listeners, and we're going to mention this again later on in the show too, but if you contact Motor City Candleworks, I believe you have to contact them through Facebook. I don't believe this is a deal you can get through the website. But if you contact Motor City Candleworks and let them know that you are a friend of Odd, you can get 5 bars of Motor City Candleworks soap in various scents for $15.
They're $5 a bar normally.
Yeah, so
this is a huge deal.
Yeah, normally that would run you $25. So if you contact Motor City Candleworks and tell them you're a friend of Odd, tell them you want the discounted deal, you get 5 bars of soap for $15. If you go to Motor City Candleworks Facebook page, he's listed all of the scents that it comes in.
Oh my God, I got the apple cantaloupe, and that smells so good.
Yeah, I got the oatmeal, milk, and honey, and that smelled really good. I know Ace is no website for this special, so you have to contact him through Facebook. I know Ace was interested in the coffee one. Even Kraith mentioned he might be interested in one of the scents as well.
The Egyptian musk, I believe, is what he was talking about.
I think that was the one.
There's so many scents. There's cucumber melon, there's lilac, there's coffee. Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, go to Motor City Candleworks on Facebook and message them and tell them you're a friend of Odd. There'll be a link in the description below. Buy soap. Don't stink.
What?
I don't know.
Buy luxurious Motor City Candleworks.
It's fucking convention season. Don't be that guy.
Oh, God. No, if you were going to use that, we would have to have Motor City Candleworks deodorant.
Yeah.
We both know how that one goes.
Soap is like, you know how they say we don't have health care, we have sick care? Soap is like the health care that we want, is like the preventative stuff, you know? So, anyways, Motor City Candleworks, 5 bars of soap, $15, normally $25. Go check it out.
Also, don't skimp on their any of their incense or their wax.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, everything Motor City Candleworks makes is top notch.
Everything scented in our house is, at this point, Motor City Candleworks.
Yeah.
Because we love it.
They make our house stink pretty.
What?
What?
Anyway.
So yeah, coloring book, Motor City Candleworks, and then go check out the dog. the video that I had dropped.
Fuck yeah, the dog. We put so much love and care into that video. And, I mean, not to say that we didn't put that into the Bigfoot documentary. You truly was, it was a passion project of yours. But we put so much work.
Hello, goodbye.
Okay.
Someone's name in the chat.
Did you want me to leave?
No. Their name is Hello, goodbye.
Okay, well, hello.
Howdy, hello, goodbye.
Okay, anyway. We put so much love and a lot of passion and direction into the dog. And it's not got as much love.
As my Bigfoot? Yeah, I know.
But I would, okay, it doesn't have as many views as my Bigfoot. However, it does have a lot more love. People that have watched it, we've actually gotten way more feedback on.
Yeah.
And it's such a good video. It really is.
Yeah, and it's only like 30 minutes, too, so it should work for that, goldfish brain that everyone has.
Wow. Fuck you. You leave me and my TikTok alone. That was a direct hit. Fuck you. I don't have enough spoons to deal with you.
Well,
I'm going to drop those, too.
Eventually.
How many hit points?
All right, before we go into our first music break, and tonight you're not getting normal music, and I'm not telling you what you're getting.
You're going to take it, and you're going to like it like the good boy you are.
Yep, you're just going to get music, and you're going to enjoy it, and that's going to be that. So I mentioned this to Ollie before we got started, but Joy Behar.
Oh, my God, I forgot! You mentioned this literally an hour ago, and I already forgot.
Yeah. So 1 week ago, Joy Behar broke the internet for claiming she's had sex with a few ghosts and never got pregnant.
I wonder why, ma'am.
She doubled down on her not safe for work statements and said, yes, she brought poor old Casper. She brought Casper into it. What she said, it's all true. I've had sex with ghosts. Casper was not a generous lover. The menage a trois. It was almost like having sex with myself. So light. So yes, it's true, ladies and gentlemen. I think she was just sleep masturbating.
I'm not sure anymore. There's people out there that claim this is a real thing.
I'm pretty sure she was just sleep masturbating.
Probably.
I
can't. Why? Why must you put your stupid out there? I get, okay. A lot of people cannot, how do I phrase this?
We call those wet dreams.
A lot of people cannot stop from putting their crazy out there. But there are some things that pass the level of crazy, and I just did not need to know that you were out here spiritually... what do I call this?
Squirting their ectoplasm?
Sure.
Getting gooey with ghosts?
Spiritually transmitted diseases?
Getting gooey with ghosts.
Sorry, is that Christianity?
Oh, that should have been the title for tonight. I found this story earlier today, so it wasn't like...
Spiritually translated diseases?
Yeah.
Or this is what Christianity is?
Sure. Getting gooey with ghosts.
I can say that. I used to be a Christian.
Yeah. Getting gooey with ghosts.
Oh, that's a really... Oh, no. That's a really bad thing.
What?
I was a Christian before I joined the Cult of Odd. Oh, that's true.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can join the Cult of Odd by going to thecultofodd.com or joining us on Patreon, patreon.com/the Cult of Odd. Become one of us today.
Who knows? We might make membership cards.
That'd be kind of cool. For patrons, for like higher level patrons?
No, you don't even have to be a higher level. I think just...
You want to be a card-carrying cult member?
$5 a month. I mean, it doesn't take but like a stamp to send it.
Yeah, but to produce it, because it would have to be nice and laminated and stuff like that.
Does it?
Yeah, you'd want to.
We're not laminated.
No, but actually...
For $10 a month, I will laminate different parts of my body.
I know a guy that does business cards and does metal business cards.
Ooh, you could get a nice metal one. Okay, so starting at the $5, this is literally what we do all the time. This is how we come up with ideas for the Cult of Odd. We just sit and bullshit like this, and it usually turns out kind of well. No, so the lower level, you can order just a standard business card. Just a nice laminated. When you're a premium member, you get the option to upgrade your business card. You get one of the metal ones.
You'd have to have a few of them because I'm sure the buy-in cost would be.
Oh, I know.
And you'd want to be able to like probably etch their name into it too. And I don't think you can do one-offs. I think you have to do.
I've got a bad idea.
Mr. Brown said bumper stickers. Odd is my co-pilot. We're actually moving the Cult of Odd store, so we'll talk. We'll get that on there. I actually had that at one point as a bumper sticker design. It never did very well, but we'll see how it does this time. But we'll make bumper stickers. But like I said, we're moving the Cult of Odd store eventually. I got to stop doing all this other shit so I can focus on that.
It's a lot of work. There's a lot. Okay, this all feels very, like, slapped together sometimes, but there is so much work.
Nobody sees really what goes on behind the curtain.
Oh, hell no. If you knew...
Not even Ollie sees everything that goes on behind the curtain.
For good reason. So I am taking over his community management and his content management. I'm reaching out with businesses and things like that, but I work 40 hours a week, if not more.
No.
You work 80 hours a week at least. It never stops. It's not paid. You get what? Our Patreon numbers are what? $30 a month, basically?
Yeah, roughly, right now.
Right. So he works. So I want to do the math on this. I want to do the math.
I make fractions of pennies.
Okay. So, I'll grab my calculator. So 80 hours a week times 4. That's 320 hours a month.
Yeah.
Divided by, I think we're at, what, 35 for the month?
Kraith's here. Kraith said, Kraith knows the work, baby.
Yeah.
Kraith's actually worked with me on several stuff.
He's still working for you.
Yeah. Well, working with me at this point.
He's working for you because you like saying it that way.
Nah. I don't want to pull rank on Kraith.
No, he's working with you because you're doing stuff in trade for each other.
Yeah. Kraith is...
I think you just like saying people work for you.
Kraith is a higher tier cult member.
Oh, Kraith is... Okay. Do you remember what we said last week? We were off mic. Do you remember we were talking about Jad was a deacon?
Oh, no, I said that with Ace, too. Ace is a deacon, Jad is a deacon, Corey is a deacon. And
no.
So, yeah.
Corey is the altar boy.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Corey is the altar boy.
Corey is the altar boy. But Kraith is a deacon, but he's also your right-hand man.
Kraith, you want to be a deacon or an archbishop?
Ooh. He has to have a metal card with his name on it. Like his government name.
We call them logs. Okay.
What?
I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
But yeah, so Kraith and I are working together on a couple of projects, and we have worked together on a couple of projects, and Ollie just said it. We trade projects back and forth.
Because Kraith is amazing at what he does.
Yeah. He's an amazing game developer. He's an amazing coder. You know, I really...
He's an amazing gamer when we get to hang out with him.
Yep.
Kraith.
He's also a content creator himself. He has his own YouTube channel. You can go check out Kraith TV.
I'm mad at Kraith.
Why? Because he works?
Yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't spend enough time with us. Kraith, you need to start putting him some FaceTime at the Cult of Odd. You're working a lot, but
we're always in the Discord.
I know. Kraith, I don't know if you know this, but I call you his boyfriend. Because he'll be talking to you, and I'll hear the disc. We'll be sitting here watching TV. Computer across the room. We'll just be sitting here watching TV, and I'll hear the Discord noise, and he looks over at the computer, and he's like, you can just turn that speaker off. And he picks up his phone, and I'm like, oh, it's your boyfriend again. Yeah. It's your boyfriend.
It's either Kraith or Pad.
I mean, it applies. That entire Discord that you three chat in 24/7. It's like, oh, it's your boyfriend again.
Yeah, we have a group message between me, Kraith, Gnome, and Pad. And
you want to know how to move up in the cult? You become one of his Discord boyfriends.
Or have big tits. I mean, that works too.
No, because I didn't move up. I was assigned this role from the beginning. I'm a founding member.
Mr. Brown said, purchase 9 bars, get 2 free bath bombs.
Ooh. Mr. Brown, we need to talk.
Kraith said, we have so much to talk about. And then coming soon, copyright trademark. So, It
Sorry,
is.
did you miss the point where we were talking about the OnlyFans? Maybe you as a Discord boyfriend could get in on that one with him.
There's a,
I like
there you
making
go.
him uncomfortable.
There's a calendar idea. The Men of the Cult of Odd.
Oh, no.
Why not?
No. Because I've seen the Men of the Cult of Odd.
The Culty Boys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to our first break. You're going to get music and commercials, and I'm not telling you what they are.
Nude of Ace.
And when we come back, we're going to start reading our spooky stories.
Scary skeletons.
And so much more. So, you're listening to The Cult of Odd. It's our Halloween special, and we hope you enjoy us getting spoopy with it. You guys might remember an interview that I did a while back with a guy named Levi. Levi is all in on the Tremors saga. It is his favorite thing in the world, and we share that love. Levi is a bright and shiny personality. He is chaotic good in the greatest of senses. Well, Levi actually made a short film. He added to the Tremors saga, Tremors canon, and I want you to check it out. Here is the trailer for it.
In a world where the existence of graboids has been buried, one idiot is about to get footloosed. This Halloween, TREMORS is coming.
Now it's time for our Patreon shout-out. Big thanks to C. Weezy, Bryce Rogers, Justin Burnside and Zaldor of Zaldor's World Podcast for becoming a patron. Welcome to our Holy Mother and the throne she sits upon, who have joined the Cult of Odd Plus. We hope you enjoy our long, uncut and girthy episodes until you're fully satisfied and left shaking from laughter. For everyone else, you can join our Patreon too. Just head to patreon.com/cultivodd. Become a patron and reap the benefits today.
Chop me a piece of wood from the holly tree. Carve me a wand, may it grant me a wish, you come back to me. Eyes on the silver screen, lauding your love, little chickadee. Please be my girl, let us swirl and crash, just like galaxies. I'm naked, alone in the woods, wearing a sad face. Oh, I'm shaking, it's cold in the woods, wearing a sad face. Entangled, caught in your snare, trapped in a bad place. Tied by the curls of your hair, wearing a sad face. Knowing my limbs to break free, even if that is the case. Now it's done. No one seems to care. They all wear a sad
tired of regular bar food and bar atmospheres? Yes! Do you long for a place that feels like home, where you're treated as family and not just another customer? Yes! Yes! Then Big League Brews is the place for you. Their menu is the most extensive in all of Downriver. They have an excellent breakfast selection, and they're also well known for their burgers and wings. But hey, if you don't want to believe just some guy on the radio, Big League Brews has been voted best sports bar in Metro Detroit by Click on Detroit 6 years in a row. Wow. They have the friendliest staff and a wide array of cocktails and beers, 26 of them on draft, with new creations regularly. Yes! 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 And if you're looking for work, Big League Brews offers the most competitive wages with great medical and dental and vision benefits and plenty of paid time off. So what are you waiting for? Get on over to Big League Brews, located at 20428 Ecorse Road in Taylor, Michigan, or head to bigleaguebrews.com for more info. Big League Brews, go beyond ordinary. Eat and drink extraordinary.
Here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane.
What is the cult of odd? Well, it's a little bit of, and a little. But most importantly, it's about becoming one of us. You can join the cult every Friday night from 8 p.m. to 11 Eastern right here on tapdetroit.com or by heading to thecultofodd.com. Let us in. Let us fill you in. Join the cult of odd today.
All right, we're back. So our first spooky story, or unnerving story, however you want to say it, comes to us from the subreddit r/nosleep. It was posted by Search and Rescue Woods. It's titled, "I'm a search and rescue officer for the U.S. Forest Service. I have some stories to tell." OP starts off saying, "I wasn't sure where else to post these stories, so I figured I'd share them here. I have been a search and rescue officer for years now, and along the way, I've seen some things that I think you guys will be interested in. I have a pretty good track record for finding missing people. Most of the time, they just wander off the path or slip down a small cliff, and they can't find their way back. The majority of them have heard the old stay where you are thing, and they don't wander far. But I've had 2 cases where that didn't happen, and both bother me a lot. I use them as motivation to search even harder on the missing person cases I get called in on. The first was a little boy who was out berry picking with his parents. He and his sister were together, and both of them went missing around the same time. The parents lost sight of them for a few seconds, and in that time, both the kids apparently wandered off. When their parents couldn't find them, they called us, and we came out to search the area. We found the daughter pretty quickly, and when we asked where her brother was, she told us he'd been taken away by the bear man. She said he gave her berries and told her to stay quiet, that he wanted to play with her brother for a while. The last she saw of her brother, he was riding on the shoulders of the bear man and seemed calm. Of course, our first thought was abduction, but we never found a trace of another human being in that area. The little girl who also insisted that he wasn't a normal man, but that he was tall and covered in hair, like a bear, and that he had a weird face. We searched the area for weeks. It was one of the longest calls I've ever been on, but we never found a single trace of that kid. The other was a young woman who was out hiking with her mom and grandpa. According to the mother, her daughter had climbed up a tree to get a better view of the forest, and she never came back down. They waited at the base of the tree for hours, calling her name, before they called for help. Again, we searched everywhere, and we never found a trace of her. I have no idea where she could have possibly gone, because neither her mother or grandpa saw her come down. A few times I've been out on my own searching with a canine, and they've tried to lead me straight up cliffs, not hills, not even rock faces, straight, sheer cliffs with no possible handholds. It's always baffling, and in those cases we usually find the person on the other side of the cliff, or miles away from where the canine had led us. I'm sure there's an explanation, but it's sort of strange. One particularly sad case involved the recovery of a body. A 9-year-old girl fell down an embankment and got impaled on a dead tree at the base. It was a complete freak accident, but I'll never forget the sound her mother made when we told her what had happened. She saw the body bag being loaded into the ambulance, and she let out the most haunting, heartbreaking wail I have ever heard. It was like her whole life was crashing down around her, and a part of her had died with her daughter. I heard from another search and rescue officer that she killed herself a few weeks after it happened. She couldn't live with the loss of her daughter. I was teamed up with another search and rescue officer because we'd received reports of bears in the area. We were looking for a guy who hadn't come home from a climbing trip, and we ended up having to do some serious climbing to get where we figured he'd be. We found him trapped in a small crevasse with a broken leg. It was not pleasant. He'd been there for almost 2 days, and his leg was very obviously infected. We were able to get him into a chopper, and I heard from one of the EMTs that the guy was absolutely inconsolable. He kept talking about how he'd been doing fine, and when he'd gotten to the top, a man had been there. He said the guy had no climbing equipment, and he was wearing a parka and ski pants. He walked up to the guy, and when the guy turned around, he said he had no face. It was just blank. He freaked out and ended up trying to get off the mountain too fast, which is why he had fallen. He said he could hear the guy all night climbing down the mountain and letting out these horrible, muffled screams. The story bothered the hell out of me, and I'm glad I wasn't there to hear it. One of the scariest things I've ever had happen to me involved the search for a young woman who had gotten separated from her hiking group. We were out late in the night because the dogs had picked up her scent. When we found her, she was curled up under a large, rotted log. She was missing her shoes and pack, and she was clearly in shock. She didn't have any injuries, and we were able to get her to walk with us back to base op. Along the way, she kept looking behind us, asking us why that big man with black eyes was following us. We couldn't see anyone, so we just wrote it off as some weird symptom of shock. But the closer we got to base, the more agitated this woman got. She kept asking me to tell him to stop making faces at her. At one point, she stopped and turned around and started yelling into the forest, saying that she wanted him to leave her alone. She wasn't going to go with him, she said, and she wouldn't give us to him. We finally got her to keep moving, but we started hearing these weird noises coming from all around us. It was almost like coughing, but more rhythmic and deeper. It was almost insect-like. I don't really know how else to describe it. When we were within sight of base ops, the woman turns to me, and her eyes are about as wide as I can imagine a human could open them. She touches my shoulder, and she says, "He says to tell you to speed up. He doesn't like looking at the scar on your neck." I have a very small scar on the base of my neck. It's almost completely hidden under my collar, and I have no idea how this woman saw it. Right after she says it, I hear that weird coughing right in my ear, and I just about jumped out of my skin. I hustled her to the base, trying not to show how freaked out I was. But I have to say I was really happy when we left the area that night. The last one I have to tell you, and it's probably the weirdest story I have. Now, I don't know if this is true in every search and rescue unit, but in mine, it's sort of an unspoken regular thing when we run into. You can try asking about it with other search and rescue officers, but even if they know what you're talking about, they probably won't say anything about it. We've been told not to talk about it by our superiors, and at this point, we've all gotten so used to it that it doesn't even seem weird anymore. On just about every case where we're really far into the wilderness, and I'm talking 30, 40 miles, at some point we'll find a staircase in the middle of the woods. It's almost like if you took the stairs in your house, cut them up, and put them in a forest. I asked about it the first time I saw some, and the officer told me, don't worry about it. It's normal. Everyone I asked said the same thing. I wanted to go check them out, but I was told very emphatically that I should never go near any of them. I just sort of ignore them now when I run into them, because it happens so frequently. Now, those stories came from r/nosleep. And that one about the guy following him, as I was reading it, I had that chill run up my spine.
Yeah.
Like, ah.
So there is another part of that story.
Yeah, there's a second part.
And the stairs are... That's a true thing that all forest rangers will talk about. Now, this story, it's been debated whether or not it's fact or fiction, if it's an actual story, or if it's somebody's made-up fan fiction in their head. Everything that I found ever on missing 411 cases... Things like this are talked about. So I don't think it really matters whether or not it's real or not. I think this is all from real cases.
Well, the bullet point, I went to the second one here, and the bullet point said there's a lot of feedback about the stairs, so I'll touch on that briefly here, and I'll also include a story. They come in various shapes and sizes, styles, and conditions. Some are pretty dilapidated, just ruins, but others are brand new. I saw one set that looked like they came from a lighthouse. They were metal and spiral, almost old-fashioned. The stairs don't go up infinitely or farther than I can see, but some sets are taller than others. Like I said before, just imagine the stairs in your house as if someone cut and pasted them into the middle of nowhere. I don't have any pictures. It's never really occurred to me to try again after my first time, and I don't really feel like risking my job over it. I'll try again in the future, but I can't really promise anything. Now I want to go see if I can find more about random staircases in the woods.
Let me see. I believe I can find it. I didn't think you'd get that into that story.
That one. Because that's weird. That those seem out of place. You know, and that's the stuff that like interests me, is the unexplained, that you can't quite figure out why or where or what.
If you click on the account that wrote them, so
I understand how to operate Reddit. I don't.
Well, just go ahead and go look and see, because they may have posted it.
Well, I'll look later. There's another one here from the same person. As far as missing persons go, I'd say about half the calls I get are related to that. The others are rescue calls. People who fall down cliffs and hurt themselves, get injured by fire. You wouldn't believe how often this happens, mostly drunk kids. Get bitten or stung by animals or insects. We're a tight team. And we have veterans who are excellent at finding signs of lost people. That's what makes these cases where we never find any trace of the person so frustrating. One in particular was upsetting for all of us, because we did find a trace of them. But it just led to more questions than answers. An older man had been hiking alone on a well-established trail, but his wife called to say that he hadn't come home when he should have. Apparently, he had a history of seizures, and she said she was worried that he hadn't taken his medication and had suffered one out on the trail. Before you ask, I have no idea why he thought it was okay to go out alone, or why she didn't go with him. I don't ask about that kind of thing, because past a certain point, it really doesn't matter. Someone is missing, and it's my job to find them. We went out in a standard search formation, and it wasn't long before one of our vets found signs that the guy had gone off the trail. We grouped up and followed him, spreading out in a fan to make sure we were covering as much ground as possible. Suddenly, a call comes over the radio telling us all to head back to the vet's location, and we come right away, because this usually means the missing person is injured, and we need the full team to help get them out safely. We meet back, and the vet is just standing at the base of a tree with his hands on the sides of his head. I ask him what's going on, and he points up into the branches of the tree, and I almost couldn't believe what I was seeing. There was a walking stick dangling from a branch at least 30 feet off the ground. The little strap thing on the handle had been looped around the branch, and it was just hanging there. There's no way the guy could have tossed it up that far. And we don't see any other signs that he's still in the area. We call up into the tree, but it's obvious no one's in it. We're all just sort of left scratching our heads. We keep searching for the guy, but we never find him. We even bring canines out, but they lose the scent long before this tree. Eventually, the search is called off because there are other calls we do have to attend to. And past a certain point, there's not much we can do. The wife's guy called us every day for months, asking if we'd found her husband, and it was so heartbreaking to hear her get more and more hopeless each time. I'm not sure why this call in particular was so upsetting, but I think it was just the sheer improbability of it. That and the questions that were raised. How the hell did this guy's cane end up there? Did someone kill him and toss it up there as some sort of weird trophy? We did our best to find him, but it was almost like a taunt. We still talk about that one time from time to time. See, my brain in cases like that would think mountain lion, cougar, something
Not
like that.
High in a tree.
I don't know if it drugged the guy all the way up the tree, and he was still holding on to the walking stick.
That's possible if you would find blood or something,
Yeah.
especially with it being that soon.
I'm going
no
with
way.
possible, not probable.
It's not probable. I don't think it's even possible at that point.
And it's weird that the dogs lost the scent of him before that tree. I don't know. A lot of weird shit happens in the woods, man. We talked about that during my Bigfoot. Ace and I did, and Ron and I did too.
I'm telling you, the forest rangers, they have stories. They have stories upon stories. One, there are feral people in our woods, and you cannot tell me otherwise. I know for sure on that one. I know there are feral humans in our woods.
I mean, there were feral humans down in Kentucky where you lived, so...
Yes, but they were part of society.
Were they, though?
Most of them are part of society.
All right. If you say so. I got no reason to not believe you, other than I lived there and I saw.
I grew up there. I knew. Especially out Wind Cave.
Well, one of the
woods. Well, you remember now when we lived there. Remember the little boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that happened when we were down there.
Yeah, but we found out that we knew right from the jump with
what
that
happened,
one, with everything that went wrong.
But the search for him was heartbreaking.
I don't know, man. Like, so here's how I look at it is there's a disturbing fact that I like to drop on people from time to time is you're not afraid of being alone in the dark. You're afraid of not being alone in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And we had said when you're out in the woods, you know, whether you're by yourself or even with you're with a couple of people, your mind will play tricks on you in the dark because you can't see that far, and you hear noises and You know, something that could be a fucking rabbit hopping through the brush.
Now becomes somebody chasing you.
Yeah. You know, so, but in these cases, if this guy is not just making the shit up, you know, if it's not just...
I don't believe it is. I believe
fantasy and fiction sake.
Correct. I believe, even if this guy in particular is, I know these do exist. These stories do exist for forest strangers and search and rescue. Talk to any search and rescue. There's always something weird.
I've seen weird shit out in the woods.
Things that should not exist in the woods.
I've seen, like, parts of rooms out in woods.
A lot of times the parts of rooms are from when there were settlers and the rock walls are still there.
See, this was not settlers, though. I've seen
drywall painted. It's just part of it.
Like one wall and part of a floor.
Yes.
Why the fuck is that out there?
That's part of the reasons we don't talk about the staircases.
Yeah.
Because I've experienced the staircase one out. That's the reason I said Wind Cave. But that area, remember, we took you all the way out where my aunt and uncle used to live. That is a scary, windy road, and that is way back. If you thought we lived in Bumfuck, I took you to Bumfuck.
Yeah.
That place is so far out that nobody would hear you scream. The closest neighbor is 3 miles.
Well, Kraitz should remember this one if he's still listening. And
Kraitz doesn't listen to you.
I think Hello Goodbye, I think that's Planky. And he should probably know of this one, too, is in the area here, we have Denton Road.
Yeah.
And the weird shit that used to happen out on Denton Road.
Still does.
Well, I haven't been out there in years.
No, but there are still stories about that one passed around on Reddit. I've very much so. The question is, are these old stories that are just being retold, or are these new experiences? You know, I don't know. I don't know if any of it was ever real. It was usually a bunch of drunk kids going out to Denton Road, like, oh, let's go out to Denton Road and get the shit scared out of us. Do you remember when you told me about the pink house that kind of...
Oh, the Pink Castle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find it. And there were we looked it up, what happened to that and all that, and everybody remembers it.
Sort of.
Nobody can find it.
Everybody sort of remembers it.
It's
nobody
never
fully remembers.
Yeah. But nobody can find it. Everybody remembers it in the exact same place, but nobody can find that.
I think it was just the castle from Rocky Horror Picture Show that took off.
Oh my God, stop.
Back to transsexual Transylvania. Yeah, I think that's what it was. That was the case. Yeah. That's the ticket. All right. So we gave you a funny story about Joy Behar, and we gave you a couple of spooky stories.
I would consider that one spooky story.
Well, because it was a series. Yeah.
There are way more on that one.
And we are going to get into those.
If that interests you, I'll say this. If that story interests you, go over to a subreddit, and it's r/missing411. There are a lot of stories like that, and they are true. And it is scary as shit to learn some of the shit that happens in our woods. So
when we come back, because we're going to be playing music again.
Okay.
We're at our point.
You want me to go fuck myself?
No. When we come back, we're going to read a story about seeing the same woman in all the burning buildings.
I love that story. I got chills already.
I'm going to pimp the coloring book one more time. It's out on Amazon now. Go pick yours up. It's the Cult of Odd coloring book. There's a link in the description below. If you're listening to this on YouTube or watching this on YouTube, however you want to look at it, please remember to like and subscribe. And don't forget to comment, to interact with us. Tell us what you want to hear more of. Tell us what you want to see more of. And for the rest of you that are listening on various other platforms, if you want the whole show, if you want all of the spooky stuff, you're going to have to go subscribe to our Patreon. This episode will be a little bit shorter than normal because I'm going to pull out all the music. That's why I'm not announcing what I'm playing. I don't want YouTube to smack me or any of the other ones like, hey, you're playing copyrighted music. Yeah, tonight I am. Go fuck yourself.
Slap me, YouTube daddy.
Please don't. Ugh.
Like the comment they told Markiplier, slap it on the camera lens.
All right. We're going to break. You're listening to The Cult of Odd on tapdetroit.com, and we are not starting an OnlyFans. I really hope you enjoyed that episode of The Cult of Odd. We put a lot of thought into what we wanted to do for Halloween. If you enjoyed hearing me read stories off Reddit, let me know in the comments section below. Otherwise, hit like, hit subscribe, and share it. Share our shit. Until next time.